recording. There she
Okay.
goes. So
Okay.
what after she starts training at basketball, she does upward first. She's very aggressive. One parent yells, "It's not football," and you see there's something there. She actually has a passion for it. She eventually goes to basketball combine, and if I remember you saying, she loved it. Always wanted to go back. Never got tired of it. And when did you come across Three the Hard Way with Caleb? When did you start going into the AAU scene?
Yeah. So being a younger child and trying to find a program was actually kind of tough. It's easier for, middle school and higher, right? But you don't see at least at the time, we didn't see that many programs for, 7, 8 year old, that kind of age group. So, um, we got connected with Three the Hard Way because we'd heard about it through some other parents, that kind of thing. Got into the program and actually did it, and then we actually went to Stephen had a team, and then we came back to Three the Hard Way. So it was kind of this back and forth trying to figure it out, for what worked for her and worked for us, and numbers. I mean, honestly, Myson, it was about numbers. Well, wait a minute, we're not going to have enough. We need to go over here. So there was some of that. And then, as again, this is 5 years ago, or 5, 6 years ago, and when you think about AAU today, there are so many programs. Like, I'm blown away at how many different programs are out in Greenville County. In fact, I kind of scratched my head going, why does there need to be that many? But I get it. I mean, it's a business, it's revenue, and people are trying to do stuff that they're passionate about. And hey, my hat's off to them. But I also look back and go, wow, if some of these teams could kind of get coordinated, there could be something special out of Greenville, to be honest with you.
Understand, is that one of the biggest differences? This is one of the item points here in the description, figuring out what the biggest differences are in the AAU landscape that you've noticed over the years. Is the number of teams the biggest difference? And also, it's so much so that I've wanted to start a directory so people can actually not have as much struggle when they're looking for a team. But to your question, what's the biggest difference from 5 years ago to now?
It's definitely how many teams are out there. And maybe it's somewhat of being into it for several years. And again, my oldest played, you kind of know based on the tournaments you go to, oh, wow, I didn't know there was a team in Anderson County. I didn't know there was a team there. I didn't know just across the border in Toccoa Falls, there's several teams, and all that. Easley's got this, and Spartanburg's got this. Oh, Upward up there, they got a ton of stuff going on. So I think it's been how many teams are out there. And that's been the biggest thing from 5, 6, 7 years ago. So you can find, I believe, what works for you. Every player's different, every parent, what they're looking for. I've heard of parents driving to Asheville and different programs there, driving an hour to get their kids signed up because that program has what they believe in, what they want for their child. And that's awesome, right? To each their own. People going to Columbia, and teams there that they want their kids to play for. So yeah, there's definitely been a lot more teams. That seems to me, and at least in an hour drive from here, there's a lot of stuff and a lot of options out there. And again, to each their own, and what works for a child and what they're trying to get out of and who they mesh with and they believe in the coach and all that stuff. So that's been the biggest aha for us, for sure.
Muted, how many conversations have you had with Kyndal or your daughters in general about how serious they are towards the game? And what does that conversation look like? I have a lot of parents asking me, is it too early to go into AAU? I don't know if he or she wants it. What does that conversation, or has that conversation look like for you?
Yeah, so for us, with Kyndal, I think it was around, just asking her like, hey, do you want to play travel ball like you saw with Cameron, your sister? Did you want to do this? Here's what it means. Practices 2, 3 nights a week, Saturdays, several games, Sundays, several games. And quickly she's like, oh yeah, for sure. But it's tough to have that conversation with how mature is your child? Do they align with what you think? And every parent wants their kid to score buckets and be happy, and you hooting and hollering on the sideline and all that stuff, right? You want what's best for your child, for your kid, for all your kids. And for her it was kind of easy, and because she kind of gets it and she takes it serious. And then as she got a little bit older, it's, yeah, I want to play ball. I'd like to play in college, and starting to that. And I don't know, she's 13, right? So will she play in college? Will she play at the next level? Will she get burnt out and need a change or whatever? Maybe, but she's enjoying what she's doing and seems to have a passion and a path for what she wants to do at that next level. And it kind of all came to head last year. As a seventh grader, when she tried out and made the varsity team at Riverside High, and that was a big step, because I'll be honest with you. We had no intention of that. Didn't want to do that, because here's a 12-year-old with 17, 18-year-old girls, big difference in age, development, all that stuff. My wife and I kind of laughed at, good Lord, she's going to hear stuff on these bus rides that maybe she doesn't want to hear about, or whatever, I'm talking about. So there was something going on that we were a little paranoid about, but we had awesome alignment with the coach and the AD and assistant coaches and all that stuff, and it worked out to be really, really good for her, and her development. So yeah, she's pretty laser focused in her training and working hard, but she needs downtime. June was a tough month with all the high school workouts and travel ball stuff, and she hit a brick wall. She did mentally and physically, and needed to unwind and totally check out for a week or something, rest the body, but get the mental part back on track too.
Yeah, how do you guys combat the burnout, and what do those conversations look like, and what have you tactfully done to help with that?
Well, and really it's been probably recently, maybe the last year, and my wife's really good at this. Like, hey, she needs to be a 13-year-old. She needs to hang out with her friends. She needs to get dolled up, and they go take pictures and go down to the park and, in front of the waterfall and this and that, and take pictures or have a sleep. She got back from Louisville Friday, and one of her buddies came over Saturday and spent the night, and they went to the pool and watched movies and sat around all day and didn't do anything, and that's, so she needs to do that. Resting up a little bit this week too, without any practices, just really having some downtime and just enjoying summer and what that means to be a 13-year-old going into 8th grade. But it's hard. Because I'm passionate, right? I'm
right.
Me, right? I'm a pretty passionate guy around basketball. I grew up and love it and all that. And I'd be like probably more apt to go, hey, let's go shoot some hoops, or you want to get some training. But my wife kind of gets me grounded and in check a little bit more so. So she's I don't know, you got to balance it out, and you got to have alignment too as parents, and make sure you're all singing from the same page, because you don't want one pushing and the other one not, or not aligned. So you got to do that.
That's interesting. Even for today's session, I'm thinking we're gonna work, but let's have fun with it. Forget about her age, right. Like 12 or 13, right? Like
13, yeah,
13.
Yeah.
Like let's have fun, because there's a Tony Robbins quote. It's not cliche yet, I don't think, but it's true to me. Like, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, right? So she can. Look, they just went to Kentucky, to Louisville, right? And in the gold bracket, they got what place? Second place?
Second, yeah.
And, for her, I don't know if it was her specifically, but you said, they were a little bummed about it. But anybody else in this upstate area who goes and does that, I would think they would celebrate,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
How is that feeling? And I'll come back to the burnout and the alignment, but I'm curious to know, what were some of the struggling times like in AAU versus what you're experiencing now? Because you guys definitely are one of the most lethal and competent AAU teams, 7th grade girls AAU teams I've seen in the area.
Well, that's the Through the Hard Way program and Coach Avery, right? He's got it, and the tough times was that team or team, we have a good mix of girls right now that have been consistently playing together, right? But early on, it was the team and playing up. I mean, I remember us going to Charlotte and losing 60-3, like, taking a beating, playing against, an age bracket that's above them, right? And they're learning. Some girls are learning and just intimidated. They're smaller. The shorts are bigger because it's just funny, right? And so it was tough, right? And at least with the program, it was kind of like, hey, stick with this. We're going to be fine. You want to take it on the chin for maybe a year or so, but they're going to get better. And that's what, I think I've seen. I mean, there is a core group of these ladies that have been playing together for several seasons now, and they know each other and they laugh and they cut up, and, there's that camaraderie, which I think is huge. These are 13, 14-year-olds that have this really cool camaraderie and get together and gel real nice. And, it's not all teams have that, because you got the cliques and stuff. And for right now, it's all working out, for them. And, the Louisville thing, and my wife had a carload of them driving up there. They all wanted to ride together. And I think she said it was loud the whole time, but it was great for, 6.5 hours. And I think that's great, for them, some of that.
And I'm thinking that is rare, because finding parents who are aligned and all, when I'm sure you guys have had turnover, because it's tough, just like any business, any corporate, you struggle. It's hard to find alignment between parents who want to play older competition. Some want to play their age group. Some don't want to travel this far. Some don't. And you guys have stuck it out through the long haul and definitely are reaping the benefits right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really, really worked out well. And, finding the right, tournament to go to, of who's in it and all that stuff. Like, we've gone to a couple places this year that we haven't gone before. And I like it, right? Because we don't see the same teams, right? They need to be challenged and all that stuff. Because you never know, who you're going to run into. I mean, there's been tournaments over the years. We've played the same teams, and that's okay. That's great. It's all good. But those girls kind of know each other. Like, oh, we just played them last Saturday. We know them. Oh, that girl has great left hand, or this one, was great on the box or on the block. She got a great turnaround. So they kind of know that, which is good. But then there's the unknown, which is the mental part of the game. Like, hey, we don't know who we're playing, or, wow, that team's from Charlotte. Wow, okay. I think that, stretching them and getting them to think differently is not a bad thing.
Speaking of, and you mentioned another word, you're giving all the great segues into the next. You said burnout earlier, and we went into burnout, talked about that, and then you just said stretching. So that is one thing that you have been preaching to Kyndal as of late. And why is that? What is the importance that you found in stretching?
Well, I think because she's 13 and her body is still developing, right? I mean, she's got to take care of that. I mean, she's still growing, and you hear the kids, oh, my knees are sore. Well, those are growing pains sometimes, right? And I mean, you and I probably don't remember those as kids. At least I don't remember ever my knees hurting or anything like that. But I guess it was common, right? But I hear a lot of kids and parents talk about that, and it's like, oh yeah, those are growing pains. Okay, well, so stretching, like that time, just, she's sore because she goes pretty hard when she plays, even at practices and stuff. And for her to take, and I've told her, like, hey, just, when you come back from a game or whatever, and you're watching TV, before, take 10 minutes, take 5-10 minutes, and you can sit there, you can talk to your friends on the phone, you can watch TV, watch a movie, just stretch. And she's starting to do that more. And the other thing is, I'm trying to just help her with the hydration. Is, hey, before a game, just drink a couple cups of water, just, kind of, because she plays a lot too sometimes, right? And you got to stay hydrated and stuff. And there was a game in Louisville where Shelly wife texted me and said, she's not starting. She said her head's hurting, and stomach was a little hurting, and I know that's fatigue and that's probably hydration. So she came out at halftime, didn't start, but tried to get going, took a bite of some, one of those energy bars and, kind of get going. So that's the kind of thing, when you've got 2 or 3 games a day or back to back, that's wear and tear. And, you got to pay attention to that as a parent. And I know kids are kids and they're going to want to eat some Skittles and different stuff like that and go to Starbucks and get all that caffeine, whatever.
Right.
So, just be mindful of that. Try to keep on the water train and keep stretching even before games and stuff. Coaches should take 5 minutes, 10 minutes before they walk out there and just do a little stretch. They're sitting around, their bodies get stiff, they're tired.
So question, I'm taking heed to that too after the last 5-10 minutes of the session. After we go hard, like, hey, let's just talk and stretch for the last 5-10
Yeah.
minutes, just get in that habit. And you actually, and there's another guy, Dr. Brian Keefe of Myo Move. I still want to introduce you to him, but I've gotten some things from him and from you and started implementing that into the camps, the clinics, the training sessions. So I appreciate you for reiterating that, because I listened loud and clear, even though you were kind of talking to Kyndal about it.
Yeah.
Last and parting thoughts for any parents, especially with parents of lady hoopers, that you think is important, or things that you've learned over the years by going through this once or twice. Do you have any parting wisdom?
I think the one thing is talk openly and candidly with coaches and trainers. Like, I think I've always done that. I've always tried to bond, not get in the way, but just, hey, what do you think? Or, what should she do outside of the gym? Like, Coach Stephen Moore used to, give my oldest homework, and I love that. And even some training that Kyndal's done, there's been homework given, like, hey, here's what we worked on. BCT used to do that, Myson. Like, you got a sheet when you walked out and it was, 5 things. Here's that drill we did. Do 20 of these, do this for 3 minutes, that kind of thing. And she used to take those cards and go in the driveway, and set them up like, okay, I remember that drill, and do some of that stuff. So I think alignment with coaches and trainers is a big thing. Just understanding what they're working on and, how you can help, if your child's really into it. And then I think the other parting thing that I would say is just that downtime thing has resonated me more so lately than ever before. And I compliment my wife on that one. I mean, let them be a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, let them have sleepovers, do whatever they need to do to have that, just, because if they work hard and weekend tournaments and just all that stuff that's going on, they need to have the downtime. And Shelly's done a great job of keeping that in check.
Shout out to Shelly, who I got to meet. I'm thankful for being able to talk to her and meet her as well. So one, thank you for taking time to do this. I really do appreciate it. And I hope this gives value to some other parents who are working through parenting the basketball moms and basketball dads. So thank you for taking time out to do this.
Oh, Myson, no problem. And let me just give a big shout out to you. Like, your training sessions and your workouts with Kyndal are awesome. I mean, the thing that she appreciates so much is, there's this, go, go, go. And then there's that reflection, or you may say a couple funny things or whatever to get just, it's fun for them. I mean, they're working out for 50 minutes or whatever the session is or the camp is, but having that little moment. And I think she has bonded with you on just talking, keeping it real. I think that's important. You keep it real for her. So thank you. Big shout out to you.
You're welcome. And I don't see how it would work any other way, because she wants that. She wants it. She's one of a kind, and I've enjoyed training her. So I'm going to enjoy the next session that we have today too. Thanks for the trust to get in the gym with her and help her improve.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Okay, so